Hello, welcome to my game dev live stream. This is live stream number 44. I had a really long week at work, so I didn't really feel like doing a live stream tonight. I just wanted to do the work, be able to listen to music while I worked on it, which I can't do when I'm streaming because it'll just get copywritten. Anyways, wanted to do a quick stream. This will basically serve as an update for what I've been working on. So I started off by coming up with this sort of diagram for how I wanted the respawning to work. So the first thing is that we have the death event. We already had that, and everything that listens to it when that occurs gets enabled. And one of the things we have right now is this enable death screen. Over here, before we go any further down this path, we have the input mapper, and then the respawn button event. And what I decided was I can set this up so that the enable death screen fades in. When the fade is done, it will unlock the event, this respawn event, and then when you press the respawn button next, it will trigger the respawn event. So we can have a respawn triggered here, and then as an event set, we'll call revive stop death screen whatever we want to do in there. And so that's what I worked on implementing. The first thing I had to do was make this lockable game event. This guy inherits from game event. It has this lock private field and a lock and unlock additional functionality. And then we're going to override the raise event. Hello, and W2 Melvin's dad, thanks for joining. So we're overriding the raise event, and then we only call the base.raise function if we're not locked. And if we are unlocked and then we raise it, we're going to lock ourselves again. So it's like a one-time trigger. It resets back to locked after it gets called once. This required a slight change to the game event function, which was to make the raise virtual, which means that the child class can override it. Okay. The next change I had to do was make these Unity events for the fade in and out done events. So I made these two new events, and then I made fade done variable, which is false on awake, false when we call fade in or fade out. And then during update, we check if the fade is not done, then we do stuff. And then if the opacity is at our goal, then we invoke the event and set fade done to true. After that, what I had to do was go and set up a ton of events all around Unity. I had to, on the red splash, add a game event listener which listens to the player respawn event, which is the new event of the lockable game event type. Oh, before that, let me back up. So the fade in, when the fade in is done, that's when we call player respawn dot unlock. And then here in the input mapping, we just try to trigger that event. This doesn't know anything about whether or not it's a lockable event or not. So nothing too crazy there. actually nothing at all there. Just had to put the player respawn event as the action that gets called when player pressed respawn. So the red splash also listens to the player respawn event, and then if it hears that, it'll fade out. The text that says player dead plus press space to respawn, that also listens to the player respawn and then disables that text. The platformer character itself. So we already have our jump event. We already had our player death event. And now we have the new event we're listening to, player respawn. And so this first thing it does is it calls the character health data.revive. It enables the sprite renderer. It enables the platformer character again. And then this last thing I added is character respawner dot do respawn. The character respawner script is very simple. It has a transform, which is the respawn location, a rigid body, which is the body to move, and then on call to the do respawn function, take this log out, it just sets the rigid body position to the respawn location position. And it all just works. And I mean that in just as in it just barely works. Boom, player died. If I press space, the player's back up there. Boom, very cool. Now that I think about it, it's probably best to reorder these, which is not a simple thing to do. So, like, I want to do the respawn before I enable these other things. Unfortunately, you have to backtrack them. Sprite renderer enabled, true. So it wasn't super obvious how I had to hook all this stuff up, but I didn't have to write much more code. That was a huge benefit of this, obviously. Make sure I'm gonna reapply everything to the prefabs. I'll apply that, but some things can't be applied, like this respawn location is not part of the prefab because the respawn location is its own object. It's just an empty game object. It just has a transform, so that's how it works. So back in Jira, we can say a respawn location, done, and respawning the player, done. The UI of it isn't perfect. For example, I would like the player dead to show up first and then press space to respawn to show up after you can actually click space, which you can't do for the first amount of time that it's fading in. It's kind of hard to see. I'll try and make it obvious here. Doesn't do anything until it finishes fading in, and then I click it and I respawn. That looked a lot smoother that time. I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed. Previously, when I clicked space, the character rendered here for 1 frame and then moved up here, which is not good looking, so I like it better that way. And I call that the respawning feature done. And here's another cool thing. Let me move this around. Just making a couple grounds here to prove my point. So it has nothing to do with this kill zone. Kill zone is just something that kills the player. But if I move over here, and then I go to the characters, scriptable data, health data, and I click kill character, it works just the same. And then when I come here and click space, he respawns over here. So this is a system that works pretty well. I say respawning is done. Making good progress on this sprint. I think I'll probably achieve it. Tomorrow I'm going snowshoeing in the morning, so that'll take up most of the day. In the evening I should have time to do some audio stuff, which I'm looking forward to. I think that'll be fun. Okay. Well, that's going to be all for tonight. I hope you found this short update interesting. And if you did like it, subscribe. I have live streams all the time. Come and join those and follow on Twitch to get notified when they go live. So lots of opportunities for you to get involved. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice night.